Testing. Good afternoon. It's 2:10 UK time. All right, ready to have a look at the charts. I'm going to have a look at Bitcoin, then QANX briefly, and then we'll have a final look at TRVL. Okay. The latest trends. Having TRVL in your thumbnail is hilarious. That is going to zero, my friend. Okay. So the question is, who will have the final laugh, me or the latest trends? We'll find out. All right. I streamed last Friday, and so this is a week later. Just get rid of these brush strokes. Let me see what I had before. Just bring it all back. Okay. So the only thing that really kind of played a role was that trend line, didn't it? So I'm just going to get rid of these brushes. Now, hide those two. What was that one? We didn't get a swing failure. We got a golden pocket bounce. Let's have a look at that. To take out the highs for another rejection cleanly off that inner trend line that I had from last week. Let's see where we are above this fib level. No, not that one. This one, no, not that one, maybe that one. So we tried to reclaim this golden pocket, lost it, trying to reclaim it, losing it. Oh, this golden pocket back test is washing, so not really relevant. All right, just hide these trend lines for a second, and I'm going to have a look at the candles. Bullish engulfing, bullish engulfing. We got a couple of bullish engulfings there. Let's have a look at the 3-day chart. Okay, the weekly. Let's have a look at that weekly candle actually. Just closed underneath the 50% mark. Yes. Still not looking as strong as it could. Monthly's gone up. How much has the monthly gone up by? Touched. Almost touched the 236. We're going to get a continuation dump. It's possible. Like this. When was that? That was in January. December, January. Clear the liquidity. Take out the lows. It's possible. Last 2 months, the volume has actually been decreasing. You see that? So you got a drop in prices, reducing volume. Okay. So the 6-month candle, 12-month. Okay. Let's have a look at the volume. Volume, volume, volume. Where are you? There you go. Volume. Can update the volume levels now. Trying to get back into the value area low. Trying to get back into the value area. Couldn't hit the golden, the point of control. Nice bounce off this high volume nodes just below us there. Let's have a look at the levels as well quickly while we're here. That weekly level has been cleared of liquidity. We've got a few daily levels here. Oh my god. What's going on? That's better. Yeah, that was tapped. There's one there. Got a little bit of a harmonic forming here as well. That SP was cleared. You see that? We probably have SPs on the way up, so let's just have a look at the order flow. I can see some big shorts entering here. Quite large shorts, and increasing OI 10 million. Look at that. So we are getting bullish CVD divergence across this whole range. You can see that the CVD's gone lower here. The price is higher. So across the range there is CVD bullish absorption, but locally it's not looking bullish at all. Locally it's not. Some shorts are entering. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's zoom out a bit. Let's just mark these single prints. So we're coming into these single prints now. Let me just mark them out. 87593 through to 90188. I'm gonna mark that on the chart. Don't know why my social stream is double texting. So annoying. I've been trying to fix it and I can't fix it. All right, let me just mark out these single prints. Eight, 7, 5, 9, 3. Two, 90188. All right. So we're coming back to the top of the single prints here. Now, if the price finds acceptance in the single prints will fill, and this gap will fill very quickly. So if the price manages to find acceptance, it will drop to this lower part here. That's definitely going to happen if there's acceptance, or you have to find support here. The price doesn't just find support of single prints just like that. You need confluence. Got the 382 there. Nothing much to go by. So let's get that trend line back in. Trend line, trend line. So what I was saying last Friday is that we need to break this trend line. If you want to save, if you want to know that this kind of downtrend is over, we need to break it. We need a back test. We need some kind of confirmation. And at the moment, we're not getting it. Getting a nice bounce. Swing failure of the highs. Shorts are entering. Can the price find support here? Yeah, it can. Or can it drop? Yeah, it can. It can do both. And the probability at the moment is that it's going to go down further, especially if the price today at the end of the day closes lower. So the question is going to be how the price closes today, whether it closes lower or not. We'll find out by the end of the day. And then the harmonic that I was kind of thinking about was something like this. Let me pull up the harmonics. Cipher. It'd have to be a cipher, which is this one here. It's the only one in play. So there is a harmonic in play. You'd have to see a reaction, probably. From the golden pocket? No. Effectively, you're just taking out this low, coming back to this monthly level. That's effectively what you're doing for a reaction. You need to see a reaction. One-to-one would be Saturday evening. Let me do that differently. Somewhere in Saturday, somewhere at the weekend. Maybe even Sunday, yeah. Off that monthly level. Let me have a look at that monthly level. Coming back to that monthly level. That weekly candle is not going to look good, is it? So I mean, I think Bitcoin's in trouble at the moment. That's the honest truth. And there is like a little bullish harmonic here, but only if there's a reaction of this level here. And that's for a long. Otherwise, the shorts are entering, yeah, off that swing failure, effectively. Off that swing failure. That daily level, there's a daily level there as well. see a reaction of that swing failure, then there's a scalp to be had there, basically. And that's it. And effectively what you're looking for is that would fill, bam, maybe another down, and then you have to go up, and then the question is, you put in just another lower high, and then another bounce, and then psh, and we're actually going down. So this looks really bearish, and actually it probably won't go that high in that circumstance. If it starts to fall, you get one bounce, it'll probably do that, and then once you take out that low, it's going to look terrible. So a really shitty scalp there. And the reality is that until Bitcoin can break this trend line, it's stuck, isn't it? Ideally what you want is you want to see signs of strength. And signs of strength would be to reclaim levels, and in this context, a reclaim would be that daily level here, because that would break the trend line, back test, and then you have actually a much safer long of a back test of a reclaim, and a back test of a daily level, which is flipped from resistance into support. Effectively, what you need to see a sign of strength, higher prices. Then you have a chance to attack this outer trend line, but it gets really choppy. And so while people might be thinking, let's long for the highs, the reality is that the price is going to move in a way to stop everyone out before it actually decides what it wants to do. Now, if it does go down, you get a really strong reaction. It all depends on the reaction. You could end up just putting a lower high and then flopping again. Because if people do long that swing failure, if you do get a reaction as a swing failure and people long it, they're going to take profit into the first resistance that they hit. And then that allows people who haven't shorted to short and to compound their shorts. And so I think Bitcoin, until we see a sign of strength, it's kind of tricky right now. We really need to recapture that daily level. So that's 93.5. Until we get above 93.5, it's going to start looking a little bit bearish. Let me have a look at the dominance chart. Yeah, dominance chart is dropping, isn't it? And then let me have a look at ETH BTC. It's going up, huh? Usually when Bitcoin's about to drop crazy, I mean, there's a flood of ETH back into BTC, and we're not seeing that just yet. We're not seeing that flood back into BTC. So I think people are still holding on to ETH, which kind of gives you the feeling that people are still, when I say people, I mean the bigger players are still expecting an up. But right now it's kind of looking shaky. Just hide those now. So I still think there's an up. Yeah, I still think there's an up in play. The question is how it gets there. It's obviously not going to be an easy up. And what I'm seeing here, obviously, is that the price is above that previous all-time high. I think if we lose that, then we're dropping, all right? So until we lose that in a meaningful way, then I think what we're actually experiencing is consolidation between there and there. That's the range, isn't it? You can clearly see it. So if I mark it out properly, it's like there to there to kind of there. Maybe there. And we're just coming back into this midpoint. And so we're in this kind of range, this horizontal range. We're in the lower part of the range because we're kind of struggling to get above this midpoint. And effectively, until we actually lose that pivot and fall down, then we're still kind of range bound in this kind of this big range here, aren't we? That's kind of where we're at. And the problem is, whatever happened next, let's just say for the sake of argument, the price does go down now, fails to react and just goes down for another leg. That's probably going to be a really strong long off that swing failure there. Then you're probably looking for a break, maybe another break, and then the problem is possibly a lower high. Wherever we form a pivot down here, let's just say we do take out that low. That will become the target there would be the golden pocket. For shorts. And so what you end up with, if we do take out that pivot, you end up with potentially a really ugly head and shoulders pattern. Yeah, that's the danger. And when you get people longing, if the price has come back down to this pivot low 74.5, takes out that pivot low for longs, and that's probably, honestly, in this context, that's probably going to be either you have a reclaim of 93.5, which is that daily level, or we have a really strong long on a reaction from this swing failure here, which is effectively this overall range low. Then the target would be the golden pocket. And that's it. And actually, traders will be taking profit as the price goes up because they're not expecting all-time highs. And then the question then, but the thing is, by then, have you broken this external trend line, this outer trend line? If you have, that's the thing. If you do, if by then, whenever it happens, you do break this outer trend line, let's just say we have a strong reaction, bam, and you reject, at least you've broken the trend line. And then people get really bearish because they'll be looking at this head and shoulders pattern, so they'll start shorting, and then that's when you can come back into a golden pocket and go up, and everything changes then. And so really it's all about shorts and longs at key areas, and which side has the power or the liquidity to push through to the other side and stop the other side out. Effectively, it's a little kind of game, cat and mouse game. But I think, I mean, assuming that there's still an up in play, I think there is. Just because when I look at the volume, I see pretty low volume across the board. Usually when you're going to kind of top out, there's quite a large increase in volume. There's quite a big injection in volume when that happens, when you top out, and we haven't really seen that. So I kind of think that we're probably just kind of feeling bearish. The whole market's feeling bearish, and there is a chance that we do bounce. And the question is, if we are still range bound, if we do just come to the bottom of the range here, bounce, price could easily go to the top of the range. If it goes to the top of the range, do people get bullish? Of course they do. They get bullish, they take it higher, stops get short, stopped out, shorts get stopped out, then we're heading for higher, and then everything changes again, and the whole market gets really bullish again. They get bullish at the highs. The market gets bearish at the lows, bullish at the highs. And actually what traders are trying to do is do the opposite. They're trying to get bullish at the lows, bearish at the highs. And so at the moment, it does look possible that we could go for lower. Unless we break these trend lines, yeah? Unless we find some real strength in the market, unless we start recapturing levels like 93.5k. I think it's quite an important level because it's a daily level. It's our first daily level above us. See that? Really, the price has to recapture that daily level. If it can't, then there's no longing. So you're looking for lower. Even if there's a harmonic, it might not play out, and the price could go much lower. So, I mean, it's always possible for the price to come down and bounce off this monthly level. So every level has the price has the possibility to bounce, you know, every level. And you just have to look for the reaction. That's what traders are looking for, the reaction. But in this context, maybe the monthly level, that would be a higher low here, and that would be a cipher harmonic, or which I drew at the beginning. Or there's no reaction and the price is actually going for much lower. It'll be aiming for these lows here. Okay. And the problem then is you've lost a lot of levels, and it depends on how the price comes down. If it starts to come down really fast, then it becomes difficult to go back up. That's the other problem. So at the moment, the price is trying to come down. Probably fill that gap that I said, those single prints. That's why the shorts have loaded up. They want to fill those gaps for a bounce off this gap. And then there'll be a bounce of the daily level. There'll be bounces off every liquidity zone. Bounce, and then maybe heading down to that monthly level. That's a wash level. So it doesn't necessarily have much liquidity. And then you could be heading down to take out that pivot low and into these much better levels, these lower levels. Okay. It's kind of Bitcoin at the moment. It's kind of what it looks like at the moment. I am inclined to think that there probably is an up before the end of the month. Depending on how the month finishes. Does it finish strong? And a strong finish would be if it went all the way down to take those lows. A strong finish, I think, for Bitcoin would be to just close, would be to take the previous month low and close back above it. That would be a strong finish. Then the next month, January, beginning of the year, and then we have a chance to break up. Can Bitcoin get to all-time highs by the end of the month? At the moment, it's not looking like it. But everything can change, yeah? Like, that's the thing about the markets. Market can change really quickly, really fast, and so you just have to keep an eye on it to see what's going on. At the moment, it looks like we're rejecting. With the target being these lows here, this kind of massive SR flip, this one here, that's going to be like a swing long, potentially. The one I drew, which I deleted, that's probably the one actually. So swing failure, reaction, and then you'll be looking for a rally all the way up to wherever the pivot's been put in to the golden pocket. But you know, traders take profit. They'll take profit at this midpoint, 91k, and then if it goes higher, they'll take profit at the golden pocket, and then that will be. You have to see what happens next. I'm going to have a look at one other thing. Just going to have a look at the whole volume. Let's just hide that. 74k long. Let's have a look at the volume across the whole bull market, so to speak. That doesn't look good, does it? Because it looks like we're falling back into the value area. Yeah. Where exactly is the value area? We're kind of at it right now. Trying to get above it. There's a little bit of a fake out. The price looks like it wants to get back in to the value area. And so even if the price bounces off 74k on a swing failure, the target would be 91 effectively. And if, depending on where the pivot is put in, who knows, because the price can always overshoot. When the price drops, it always likes to overshoot. You could end up with a really nice fib level on 91k, and then that level becomes even stronger as a resistance point if you have a little bit of confluence on a level that you're targeting. So we have to see signs of strength or reactions from the lows. Otherwise, right now, it just looks like a rejection. It looks like we're rejecting that pivot high. That's what it looks like. Swing failure of the previous week high. The price went down and went up, and now looks like it wants to go back down. That's kind of what it's looking like at the moment on Bitcoin. So, yep. And then when you look at the order flow, looking at the order flow, I'm gonna have to refresh it again. What you want to see is you want to see some bullish CVD, or you want to see trap shorts. And at the moment, we're not getting bullish CVD, and we're not getting trap shorts. You see that big short that came in? They're in profit at the moment. See that? They came in there, and the price is underneath their entry position. We're underneath the weekly open. So right now, this whole order flow is looking pretty bearish. It's not looking bullish at all. Some liquidations, but longs are being squeezed. That's effectively what's happening right now. All right, so that's the kind of Bitcoin update. Any questions? All right, that's Bitcoin. That's the Bitcoin update for this week. If you've got any questions, you can just post them my YouTube video and I'll answer them. Let's have a look at QANX. So QANX has had some significant updates. And if you go to the QANX X page, you can find all the updates there. I kind of reported on the CEO, CTO, whatever, Johan, talking at a conference. And I think he did that on the 2nd of December. They posted something recently, just a couple of hours ago. They said something, something, something. I don't know. France starts the timer and sets it to 2027. A global high-tech leader in defense, aerospace, and cyber digital just wrapped up something. I don't really know what it is, but it's probably good news for quantum computing. Across Europe, the EU's coordinated roadmap mirrors this urgency: critical infrastructure quantum ready by 2030. So, yep. And then this is the 2nd of December update. Let's have a look at that. This is a big one. The November milestone, the QANX link successfully passed Hacken security audit. What does it say? November has been a month of significant progress for Quantum Platform, solidifying our position as a leader in quantum-safe hybrid blockchain technology. Following the Quan virtual machine, the component that enables writing smart contracts in any programming language, the QANX link, our cross-signer protocol that makes Quantum Platform quantum safe, has passed the security audit by the leading blockchain security firm Hacken. The news of QANX link's successful security audit gained traction in top-tier media outlets, etc. The excitement around QANX link is tangible. We are rapidly integrating these key components into our blockchain. The supercharged Quan testnet, featuring both the audited QVM and QANX link, is on track. So this is actually relatively bad news, because even though it's good news in that the X-Link has passed the security audit, it was expected to pass. No one expected it to not pass. The bad news is now they have to update the testnet with the QANX link, and so that's going to be launched in December. And so you'd expect, yeah, so the mainnet is still not nowhere close. That's the bad news, isn't it? Over here it says December promises to be equally dynamic. The CTO Johan has been invited. Yep, I didn't watch it, so I don't really know what he said. So again, this is kind of like a long hold, isn't it? It's a long hold. On that news, yesterday we got a little pump, whatever, pump, Wednesday, Thursday, and now we're getting the sell-off. It's kind of copying Bitcoin in the sense that we're getting a swing failure and the price is going down now, isn't it? It's kind of similar to Bitcoin. Possibly we go down and take the lows again, huh? And you're probably looking for a little bit, another kind of, possibly, if Bitcoin does drop further. So Bitcoin is actually driving the QANX price action at the moment very closely, in the sense that Bitcoin needs to be bullish for QANX to be bullish, and then while Bitcoin is feeling bearish, then people are kind of scaling out or selling their QANX. There's nothing technical here to kind of evaluate. There's still a higher time frame harmonic possibly to form a C point, and yeah, nothing's changed really in that sense. Let me have a look at the candles as well. I think we are trying to form a pivot here over the next few weeks, possibly. That's what it looks like at the moment. We're kind of at the low of the range. We're kind of back into this little area here. And the question is, do we form a higher low? Ideally, we form a higher low somewhere here and don't take these lows. And that would be really bullish if that happened. If we form a higher low, don't take these lows. And it just means that over time, there's more accumulation than selling. So you get people who trade, pump, dump. But overall, if you're putting in higher lows, it means that the market is buying and you kind of higher floor every time. So it's almost like we're coming to the floor. And then the question is, do we get the crazy pump? That is really going to require the mainnet. I mean, based on this harmonic, I mean, it really has to be sometime in December, huh? Let me just have a look at the timings again. No, maybe not. Could be January. Fib time is a little bit of an estimation. There's no real... Yeah, no, that's not right. Probably from that pivot to this pivot. Third week of January. If you can put in a lower high here, maybe. And ideally what you want to do is you want to bottom out here. That's really what we want for a lower high, and not take out these lows. Ideally. Because we've taken out all these lows. Effectively what that means is that none of these pumps were Elliott waves, because you take out the lows. You can't do that in Elliott waves. And so this whole thing is one big consolidation, isn't it? This whole structure is one massive consolidation. So all eyes are going to be in the mainnet. I mean, I think that's what's happening here. I think QANX is actually really resilient compared to the rest of the crypto market. I think there's a lot of people just still accumulating, knowing that the mainnet's coming, knowing that when the mainnet comes, everything's going to change. And they're not letting go of their QANX, or they are letting go little bits, but not much. And they're just accumulating more. And so all eyes are on the mainnet. That's really QANX. There's nothing really more to say. I mean, do all the analysis you want. Right now, Bitcoin, as long as it's showing signs of weakness, it's affecting the whole market. And with QANX, what you're seeing is, I mean, that would have been ideal, but if not now, then probably third week of January. But we have to see what happens. And so when you're looking for signs of strength, you wouldn't see like big volume coming in with a bullish engulfing. We had a bullish engulfing there, but there wasn't really big volume on that bullish engulfing. It wasn't like a big bullish engulfing with an increase in volume on a weekly time scale. Something to show us that people are buying. It's kind of mimicking Bitcoin as well. When you look at Bitcoin and QANX, let me pull Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the right, QANX on the left, you see? Going up, down, up. You see that? They're kind of following each other. See that? Up, Bitcoin's going up, QANX is going up. Bitcoin's going down, QANX is going down. Bitcoin goes up, QANX goes up. Bitcoin goes down, QANX goes down. Up, up, and down, down. They're kind of following the same kind of waviness, aren't they? So what really needs to happen here is that QANX, Bitcoin needs to bottom. Bitcoin needs to bottom. That's basically what needs to happen for QANX to bottom too. And wherever Bitcoin bottoms is the bottom. And again, it goes back to Bitcoin, because I know a lot of traders, following other charts and other traders, some people bullish, some people bearish. I think when it comes to Bitcoin, as long as we don't see signs of strength, you're bearish until we see lower prices or we see a real sign of strength. And we're not seeing that at the moment. If you look at my Bitcoin analysis earlier in this video, you'll see we're showing weakness at the moment. I've talked about Bitcoin a lot for us. 74k long, or we need like what that one, we need to break these trend lines. Like these trend lines are really important, and I had that trend line marked from last week, the week before, And look, it's just bounced perfectly off that trend line to the dollar. See that? With a swing failure on Bitcoin. And that basically determines everything at the moment. So unless a project has its own value coming in, has real like value outside of crypto coming into the project, then the project is going to be tied to Bitcoin. That's how it works. Bitcoin is the tide that rises all boats, is a tide that sinks all boats. That's what they say, isn't it? So that's kind of where QANX is. I hope that helps. Let me go back to it for a second. Yeah. Oh, that's against Bitcoin. Let's have a look at that actually. This is QANX against Bitcoin. Oof. You've got that. We'll just ignore that. Let's have a look from there. This is quite healthy. I'm putting in a lot of volume at these prices within the value area against Bitcoin. From the current place to the high. So we're still range bound. It looks, you see, the whole thing's like one big consolidation. One big wedge. It looks like a wedge. It's kind of falling wedge. All right, that's QANX. I'll cut this video up. If you don't mind, just a like on the video. Much appreciated. Or a retweet if you prefer. But I don't like people to retweet bad news. I like people to retweet good news. All right, that's QANX. And so the question of the hour, the question of the day, the question of the year. TRVL, do or die. What's going on with TRVL? A lot of people talk to me, message me privately, publicly. They're saying TRVL's, look, the latest trend said having TRVL in your thumbnail is hilarious. That is going to zero, my friend. That's funny. It looks like it. I can't say it doesn't look like it. But we're about to shock everyone. Everyone doesn't realize, but Dtravel is about to shock everyone. Shock. Not many people realize they look at the token and go, token shit. Maybe it looks shit. Or maybe what we're experiencing from the launch is some higher time frame massive correction. Maybe, lots of maybes here. Bam, 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 and then maybe. I've talked about this before. Maybe what we're just experiencing is one gigantic WXY of sorts, and that's it. And we're about to see the glory days. Usually with these tokens, they always look bad before they look great. Okay, but this is a sell-off. I mean, there's no doubt we've had a sell-off. Why the sell-off? Well, I've explained it before. There's a ST tag on Bybit, and what that does is it scares people from buying on Bybit. And Bybit is a tier 1 exchange, and we don't necessarily want to scare people. And so when Bybit does that, it's quite scary. No one buys, and people who have accumulated a little bit of TRVL on Bybit, they sell. Even if they sell at a loss, they sell because they think the project is dead. And so we are under pressure. Yeah, Dtravel is under pressure. That's for sure. 100%. Not just because of the charts or the token. If you go to Telegram and look in our TRVL channel, there's lots and lots of conversations and questions and debates, and it's on and on and on. Some people are upset, some people are happy. No one's happy, but some people are optimistic and positive, like me, extremely optimistic, extremely positive. And there's obviously some kind of divergence in thought, right? So what do I know that everyone else doesn't? Well, I know a lot of things that a lot of people haven't done their research to know what's going on with Dtravel. And so part of the reason why I do this stream is to kind of update update people and give people a heads up of what's happening and what's coming. Not just looking at the charts. I mean, we can always look at the charts, but the reality is when you look at the charts, what do you do? What can you do? There's nothing technical here to do. We're at all-time lows. I'll draw the volume again. This is the volume across 4 ranges, even though Bioconomy is actually putting in a lot of volume recently, and it's not in my list of 4 here. I could actually add Bioconomy, couldn't I? Let's just, I will do it in a second. Let me, for the sake of fun, it's all fun, isn't it, at the moment? Because everyone is like, this is depressing. So let's just have some fun. If you just use the 4 charts that I use here, which is Mexi, Gate, IO, KuCoin, and Bybit, and you do a volume profile, you see that we're still within the value area. Okay, so in terms of value, it's still correct. It's not, we haven't lost the value area yet, and that would be that's when you know the token is finished. When the price loses the value area, there's not enough volume coming in at the lows to change or move the value area, and therefore it's lost its value effectively. And so what's happened is that the price has dropped twice from the all-time low, once, and then a lot of volume came in here, and whatever consolidation, and then it's dropped again. And look at the volume that's coming in here. We're putting in volume here. See that? So we are putting in volume at these lows. So there is interest in this token. Yeah. Even though you think it's sell volume, for every seller there's a buyer. And so however you want to look at it, people are buying. Yeah. Why? Because it's cheap. It's dirt cheap. And it's like ridiculously dirt cheap. When you go to CoinGecko and look at TRVL, you see the market cap right now is trading just above $1 million, and the fully diluted is $2.4 million. So it's really cheap. It's really cheap for a token. Now, if the token's not dying and if this project is sound, then this is the buy of a lifetime. And that's the truth. No one can predict the future, but if this project is if this business, this decentralized business is to succeed, then you're coming in at bargain basement right now. That's the reality. But people don't have that certainty. They're not sure. So for a lot of people, it's a bit of a gamble. Some people have already invested and they're just accumulating because it's like do or die. And that's what I put in my thumbnail, do or die. This is it. This is the moment of truth. You either lose everything or you make a killing because of the changes that are about to happen. This becomes your bottom effectively, right? And so we are still within the value area. There is volume. Doesn't mean people aren't going to sell. So if we do suddenly get a pump, doesn't mean people aren't going to sell into it, you know. And you've got areas where the price could go up and you get really strong resistance areas. At the moment, at about 7 or 8 tenths of a cent is a strong resistance area because it's the range point of control, and also the value area high of this range, which is roughly about 2 to 2.1 cents, is a strong resistance area because it's the previous all-time low. And from where, assuming the pivot is put here roughly, it also corresponds with the golden pocket. So there's a lot of confluence for resistance at 2 cents thereabouts. Okay, so whatever happens, you've got your areas of resistance, big resistance. Initially, you're probably looking at the previous lows, just here. Point of control, every fib level really, and then all the way up to 2 cents. These are your resistance areas, yeah? But the reality is this TRVL doesn't move like any other token. When it moves, it moves. If it drops, it drops, and when it goes up, it will go up, yeah? And if it does start to go up, it means everything's changed. The market sentiment has changed completely, okay? Can we revive or recover TRVL? Yeah, I mean, it's possible, yeah? It's possible to revive and recover TRVL. That's why I'm still streaming, yeah? I don't think all hope is gone. I'm actually really optimistic about Dtravel. I talk about Dtravel a lot. The business proposition is outstanding. We have nearly 11,000 operator signups. We have 6,165 listings. and the cumulative GMV, that's the earnings or the value taken by the project in the last 3 years, is 1.4 million, just over. Average booking value 828. And you see that the real world network is growing. We've booked over 10,000 nights. And if you wander into Telegram and you have a look at the general channel, you'll see that there's new booking process, new booking process. You can see the activity. You can see the activity. New booking processed, new booking site activated, new booking site activated, new booking process. So you can see there's activity. You see that it's working. The business is working. So there is a lot of interest on Dtravel. Okay. What we're experiencing, as I keep on talking about, is a massive disconnect between the value of the token and the real world network. This is the real world network. It's growing and the token is dropping. There's a massive disconnection. And this is what is being addressed. It's being addressed because if you go to dtravel.com, which is the Dtravel website, go to the blog, you can read the new chapter for Dtravel, Rebuilding Travel Around People, a note from Dtravel's new CEO, Eric Pace. And it's a 3-minute read, and here you can read what's broken, what's being built, etc. Why this matters, what's next. And he explains what's next, okay? So not only is the leadership of Dtravel changed, and there's a new vision for the future of Dtravel, and that part of that vision is to fix this. And we're not just talking about a fix, we're talking about a complete overhaul of the tokenomics, which will align the token with the network. That's what's happening with the network. How do we do that? Well, the tokenomics addresses that, will address that. Okay, and we've been talking about some sort of lockup where up to half of the tokens are locked up and then released on a Bitcoin-based tokenomics model, some kind of Bitcoin-based tokenomics model. That's what we're talking about, okay? And that will assign value to the network growth. And as the network grows, people who grow the network or help the network to grow or to invest into the growth of the network will be rewarded periodically with TRVL. And that is a diminishing return. So over time, the emission drops, just like Bitcoin. That's kind of what we're talking about. And that's why people are still keen to accumulate, because right now, if you're accumulating a broken token of a previous vision. What you're seeing now is a continuation of the previous errors made by the previous leadership. Yeah, they first lost the all-time low, and then the CEO stood down, and what the new team are doing is trying to recover confidence and recover trust. And the announcements haven't been made, but that's the direction we're heading in. That's why I'm back to stream and to talk about Dtravel. That's why I'm still confident that this project is going to succeed. So what you're buying now is value in a broken token, which is going to be fixed. And once it's fixed, that's when we're going to see the true bottom. That's when we're going to have an alignment between the value of TRVL and the value of the network. That's what will happen. Okay. Now, how Dtravel goes about that is very important. So the next 3 or 4 weeks are critical to the future of Dtravel, because how much lower can you go? We can't, you can go to 0, and then the project, then there's all hope is lost in this token, right? And all people looking at this, they might think all hope is lost. But there is a fight back. There's a fight back because everyone in Dtravel is fighting back. The new leadership are enthused with energy, and it's a challenge. And we don't walk away or step away from challenges. We take them head on and we fight. That's what we do. We fight, but we're not bitter about the past. It's all been in a learning experience, and we've created something beautiful. When you go to Dtravel, you go to Travelers. This is beautiful. It's an Airbnb effectively, but for crypto. And it works. You can right now go onto Dtravel and you can book properties in Toronto, and you can book using fiat or crypto, and it's insured as well. It's insured. And this completely bypasses intermediaries. It bypasses booking.com, bypasses Airbnb. It means you can deal directly with the operator, with the host, and often, not always, but often you'll get a cheaper price. Okay, or you can and this is what business owners, this is what property owners, this is what short vacation rental operators want. They want the ability to manage and control and run their own business. And that's what we're giving them, a decentralized platform to run their own short vacation property rentals. But this was the previous vision, and there was no value assigned or meaningful value assigned to TRVL. That's what is broken. TRVL is broken. Okay, that's being fixed. It's being fixed in a series of positive actions. One of them is going to be a new tokenomics model that's going to be announced soon. Now, I don't know exactly when, but it'll be soon. And that's going to bring certainty to the token. Okay, that's going to change everything. And then if you go and have a look at the new chapter blog post, the link is just there. There's some other things that have been talked about. A pilot project to be announced that hasn't existed in the travel industry before, and that's going to be the first initiative is going to be in El Salvador. And I kind of, on my X page, I kind of hinted to it because I visited it when I was in El Salvador. I checked it out. Now I know some of the details, but I can't say. You're gonna have to wait for the announcement. And I think it's exciting, and this is it. Big things are coming to Dtravel. This is where TRVL ashes turn into a wildfire there. And there's a picture of me. That's all I can say. It's like a sneak peek. So if you watch my streams, you get the sneak peek of what's coming. So we're about to do things differently in a very significant, tangible way. And we're about to bring value to TRVL, or back to the token, real value, where you will want as much token as possible and you will not sell it, or you will not want to sell it. But part of that will be the tokenomics. And this is really important that you understand. It won't just be the pilot program, it will be the tokenomics, because we don't just want people to buy the token, we want people to invest the token back into the project, back into the business, to hold and not sell. So we have to answer these questions. You can't just come up with something and not deliver. We have to deliver too. So there's a lot of things that we have to do. And part of what's changing is the structure of the DAO. Because in the past, it was meant to be a DAO. It never became a DAO. It will become a DAO too. That's all in the horizon. And there's some other things that are coming too. And I can't say exactly because I don't have all the details, and I don't know if all the details have been finalized. But basically what's happening is that everything's changing in the world where travel and wellness are connected, where doctors in Sweden are prescribing travel for problems like depression. And so people are starting to understand that actually traveling is good. It's good for your health. And this is a new trend that's growing or starting to form in the world, where people are able to work overseas. They're able to work in cheaper countries and travel, and they need accommodation. And often Airbnb isn't suitable because it's too expensive because of the fees. And so there is a real connection between travel and wellness, and Dtravel is honing in onto this niche area. And that's part of what we're kind of focused on in the next few months. In the next few months, we're connecting Dtravel with wellness, travel and wellness. And part of the experience of travel and wellness is rewards, is when you travel, getting rewarded. So your travel isn't just about traveling to a destination. It isn't just about vacation. It isn't just about sightseeing. Now it becomes a real achievement, a meaningful, tangible achievement, within our network. And it's easy to say, oh, here's your reward, here's some TRVL, but often people don't understand the value of crypto, especially in the long term, especially when the charts look like this. But in the future, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating something where we're giving more value than just TRVL in the context of Dtravel. And watch this space. So I think all the naysayers saying, oh yeah, this is dead, or this is all going to zero, or whatever, sure, you know, right now it's do or die. You can invest a little bit and make a shit ton of money because this is actually the bottom, this is the end, or you can lose your money. It's the truth, you know, because I'm wrong and everything's going to collapse, but I'm not wrong. Dtravel will succeed, and in the future, one time in the future, people will be looking at these videos that I've made and go, wow, he wasn't wrong. He told us. Yeah. So I'll continue doing what I do and tell people that this is still good. It looks miserable, but these are the opportunities. These are the opportunities. Now, I don't know exactly how this is going to look in the next few months. No one can predict that. There's no real technical analysis to do here, except the only way to invest is to use a sound investment strategy like dollar cost averaging, and to use a time-weighted average price approach, and always only invest what you're willing to lose. And the same applies to every single crypto out there. And when you look at this chart, it's a real big bet, huh? So you have to take into consideration the risk. But I'm extremely positive. I'm extremely bullish. More so now than ever. With the changes that have been announced, with the network that we've created, and now we're in the month of December. Let's go to the monthly chart and have a look. We're already above the previous month low. We've gone down, we've come back up. I mean, who knows what this is going to, could this be a doji? Could next month go? Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, yeah. But with the changes that are going to happen, the announce, I'm expecting a massive rally. Now, we have to time those changes right. Yeah, timing is also important. So, as I've been talking about in the charts for a long time, when you look at the MEXC chart, we have a really crucial, let me just delete all this rubbish. We have a really important time pivot, fast approaching. I have it for next week. And how I worked this out was based on the launch date to the first significant pivot low. How did I do that? Not that one. This one. That's not the one actually. Where's the other one? Find that one. That's it. Let me pull that one up again. Not that one. That's it. So the launch date to the first pivot low to the first pivot high. Let me do this correctly. And actually, I used the weekly time frame. And you see the 618 gave us this low here. The 1-to-1 gave us this high. The 1.618 kind of gave us this high here. The 1-to-2 gave us a low here. And we're fast approaching this next pivot point. It's actually the third week of December. So we're coming close to it. There's going to be a pivot point there. Possibly that's when Bitcoin bottoms out. And this is going to be the opportunity for TRVL to form an actual significant pivot low here. And if I kind of draw another fib time here from this low to this That's lined up. So these pivots are lined up. How did I do it? I've got it here. Let me just see where it is. That's to the next one. Yeah, it's all lined up. See that? Everything's lined up. However you draw it, these pivot points are lined up. So I think we're coming into a low very soon, next 2 weeks. And the thing about a token like this is if you're buying, especially if you're buying market on the market, the price moves a lot. So you buy a relatively small amount, like 100,000 or 200,000 TRVL. The price will move away because of the slippage and the liquidity. And so it's very difficult to buy when the price is moving up, because the price has already moved like 50%. You buy a small amount, and then suddenly the price is up another 20%, 30%. And so when everyone starts buying again, this is going to move really fast. At the moment, you think that everyone is selling, but that's not true. This is everyone selling. This is the 3-day chart. You see all these red candles? This is everyone selling. This is sell, 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 sell. What you're getting here is you're getting some selling, a little bit buying, a little bit selling, a little bit buying. See that? So this is people buying back in. So we do have a little bit of buying. It was very different before. And you see the volume speaks, tells us there is buying. There is quite high volume buying. There's quite high volume selling. But remember, people selling, the sales have to be bought too. So it's a very different outlook where we're at now to where we were before. This whole drop was a crazy sell-off, and it was like, that's really when the market lost confidence in the token. This is something else, and I think a lot of people are just waiting, and they're interested to see what happens over the next few weeks. We'll probably end up bottoming out. I don't know how low we'll go. I can't tell you that, but this probably will end up bottoming out. And there's going to be some massive announcements, really, really big announcements soon. I spoke to Eric yesterday on the video conference. I speak to him regularly. We're really positive about the future, about the near-term future. And it's 100% speed, full speed ahead on everything that's about to be released and announced. 100%. Yeah. No one is backing off from this project. I'm not. I'm 100% on board, 100% support Dtravel and what's happening. And this isn't now about, let's just give them time, let's see what happens. We're about to make some major announcements and just watch this space and then judge. Okay. And what we really want, actually, and this is something that what we really want is, we want the community to find confidence in the team again. That's what we want. We want to restore the confidence back into the team, back into the leadership, back into the vision, back into the future. And because we want people to buy more and hold. We don't want people to sell. Okay. And so obviously none of this is financial advice, but I think don't judge where we are going to be in the next few weeks with the past. I think there has to be a separation point. You know, yesterday was a Gemini supermoon in Sagittarius. It was like a new chapter. The last full moon of the year, and it was the last supermoon in a while. And usually with these kind of supermoons, if you're a little bit kind of superstitious, you know that that's kind of where you turn over the old and you start the new. And that's kind of what we're asking. We're asking for people to turn over the old and start the new. And when the announcements are made, and when everything starts to fall into place, and we start to read the new announcement posts and watch the new videos or whatever's being released, be neutral. That's kind of what we're asking. Be neutral. Just look at it fresh from a business perspective, from a crypto perspective, and then decide. Yeah, because the reality is when you look at the charts, whatever we do, when we do get a lift off eventually, what we really want is people to not sell. Yeah, we want people to buy more. When we eventually get our lift off moment, what we want is people to buy more. We don't want people to sell into the lift off, because that just undermines everything. What we need is the market sentiment and every sentiment to change and for confidence to be restored. Once Dtravel goes all the way to eliminate the FUD, eliminate the uncertainty, the fear and the doubt, then what I'm asking is for people to give it another chance. Yeah. And when you go into Telegram, you'll see that you're welcome to come. You're welcome to give your opinion, have conversations. You're welcome to criticize. Just be polite. Don't be offensive to anyone. And everyone's feedback is noted. Everyone is respected and regarded. Everyone is considered. Yeah, no one. And when this becomes a DAO, it's going to become more evident. Yeah, it's going to be very significantly evident. Yeah, because then everyone who has TRVL, holds the token, will be a real stakeholder in the future of this decentralized business. That's really what we want. All right. That's my Dtravel TRVL update. So watch this space. If there's any breaking news, I might just come back with a flashing breaking news video. But for now, this is long enough. So until next Friday, I wish you the best. It's Christmas, so people will probably be focused on buying Christmas presents and spending time with their family and going to Christmas dinners. And so maybe for the sake of our sanity, it's best not to look at the charts for the time being, or the price, and just switch off and just have a notification on my X page, or just keep an eye on the announcements here, the announcements. Oh look, this is the website. You see the website's been updated, and so that's being updated regularly. The announcements. What's that video? Oh, you can't see it. I clicked on it, you can't see it. Looks good though. All right, that's it for today. I wish you a wonderful weekend, and if you want to say anything, come into Telegram or just message on my video, YouTube, just say hi. I'm really excited for the future, yeah, and I'm not even kidding. I'm really honestly excited. We're going to succeed. We're going to do big things. Just watch this space. Just watch this space.